Hi gentle people, I did a video called The Power to Heal and the Power to Harm, and after I was done uploading it I was not happy, and I went to God and I was complaining, and I'm like, God, I don't like the video that you had me put up. It's just all doomy and gloomy, and I know that it can't be all rainbows and poses, but it somehow bothered me a whole lot. And he said to me, make another one. And I'm like, really? Yes, did one. He said, make a part 2. And I said, part 2? About what? And when he told me, I was extremely happy. So in 2017, my mother was diagnosed with cancer, and I can't say the name, it's long, so I'll just say bile duct cancer. And this tumor was growing rapidly. Like in the space of 2 months, it had gone from 2 centimeters to 9 centimeters in 2 months. And so she started chemotherapy immediately, and also radiation, to try and shrink the tumor so that the doctors could operate. Sometime before the surgery, I had a dream. I dreamt that my mom was in surgery. My sister who follows me, Emma, and I were at the hospital with her. We were in the waiting room, and the surgery took hours. And the doctor came out to talk to us, and he said, the surgery was a success, and your mom's going to be in recovery for about 2 hours. Emma and I were tired and we were hungry, and so we decided to go home and shower and eat. When we got back, the doctor approached us, the same doctor who told us about the surgery. He approached us, but this time his face was, I knew when I saw his face that something was wrong. And he said, I'm sorry. He said, your mom started bleeding internally. He said, we did everything that we could, but her organs started to shut down one by one. And I bawled and screamed and hollered, and then I woke up. As the date of the surgery approached, like I just had this thing in my gut, that thing where your stomach feels all queasy and you don't want to eat. Like I was just nervous and just, and I was praying, but I was still afraid. And when my mom asked me if I had had any dreams, guys, I told her I hadn't. I felt bad about doing that, but I didn't want to tell her because, what is the point? She's going to go into surgery expecting to die? No, you have to have hope. And so I did not tell her. And I remember going to God about it, and I'm like, God, I'm so sorry. I couldn't tell her. I don't know why you showed that to me, but I just could not tell her. And then a few weeks later, my mom called me and she said surgery had been put off because there was a hurricane coming. And when I heard that, guys, I was so happy, because I knew that once the date changed, the outcome had also changed. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but I knew that once the date had changed, then my mom was going to live. My mom had the surgery and everything went well. She recovered nicely, and we had a good Christmas. And then in the new year, in January, Emma called me and said that mommy was in the hospital, and I flew up right away. And yeah, she was in pretty bad shape, guys. I mean, this is just 4 months, and then all of a sudden, just like our world came crashing down all over again. She was in the hospital with a blood clot. She had swelling in her feet and ankles. She was retaining water in her abdomen, and like a host of other stuff. Yeah, I can't remember all of it, but you know, she was in pretty bad shape. My youngest sister, Penny, flew down, and so Penny and I were there, you know, visiting her at the hospital, and then they eventually released her, sent her home. And Penny stayed about a week, which was great because she's uber organized, and you know, she was, you know, getting tubs and putting supplies in one tub, you know, towels in one tub, disinfectant in one tub. I was happy because I was running up and down all over the place, and you know, I wasn't getting much sleep because my mom had to be getting medication and stuff, and then some of it had to be staggered, and the time was like, you know, it was just crazy. And one morning Penny came out and saw me, and she was like, "Why do you look like that?" And I'm like, "I haven't slept." And she's like, "Why?" And I said, "You know, because I have to be like giving mommy this medication, and then I have to be changing the bandage, and then I have to be doing this, and I have to be, you know." And she's like, "So why don't you set a timer?" And I'm like, "I don't even know how to do that." She's like, "Give me your phone." And she took my phone and she set up, you know, timer. She got all the bottles and she put, you know, all the times in, and also put in the dates for my mom's appointments in my calendar, right? And yeah, she's like, "Okay, so when it's time for her appointments, this will go off, you know, alarm will go off, and you know, you don't have to keep remembering everything in your head or writing stuff down on paper that you're gonna lose anyway." And yeah, so it was crazy. After Penny left, I was stressed out, tired, because you know, we weren't tag teaming, you know, it was just all me. So I called Emma and I said, "Hey, you know, I can't, I'm getting sick, I need help." So she agreed to fly down, and we arranged it so that my mom would not be alone at all. Now my dad was there and he was helping to drive her to her appointments and stuff, but my mom needed around the clock care. So my mom was pretty bad, guys. She couldn't eat solid food. I had to puree her food. She could not walk without assistance. I had to help her with everything. I mean, she couldn't help herself. And she was swollen. We had to be taking her to the hospital to have the fluid drawn from her abdomen, right? I remember one time they drew as much as like a gallon of water from her abdomen. It was bad, and you know, she was weak, she was losing weight, she was basically skin and bones, and then you know, she was swollen. It was horrible. We arranged it so that when I was going, Emma was coming. Yeah, so 2 days before I left, God told me to pray for my mom. And I was like, "Yeah, I've been praying for her." And he says, "No, pray for your mom. Put your hand on her and pray for her." So she was on the couch, she was reclined on the sofa, and I went behind her and I put my right hand on her shoulder. And you know, I remember touching her and thinking, she's so frail. Like I was afraid to even hold her too tight, you know. And yeah, so I put my hand on her shoulder, guys, and the Holy Spirit started talking to me, and he told me what to say. And I whispered the prayer. I didn't talk out loud or anything. It was just a whisper. And it was a short prayer, maybe like 3 lines. But the most important thing that I can remember saying was, God, if it is your will, and God, whatever your will is, let your will be done. Right? And that was it. I prayed exactly as the Holy Spirit led me, and that was it. It was up to God. It was in God's hands. And so, left, went home, flew home. And about 2 days after, Emma called me. And she's like, why did you let me take time off from my job? And I'm like, what are you talking about? And she's like, well, mommy's not as sick as you said. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And she's like eating, asking for seconds. She doesn't want crushed food because, I didn't tell you guys this, but after I had prayed for my mom, by the time she was supposed to eat, like a couple hours later, my mom did not want the pureed food. My mom wanted me to crush her food with a fork. And I was like, really? And she's like, yes. And she ate. And guys, guess what? After she ate, she asked for more. And I gave it to her, and I was like pretty amazed. And I was like, you know what? But it didn't click to me what was going on. I was just like, wow, so cool. But guys, it really didn't click to me. So anyway, back to Emma. She said to me, like, mommy is refusing to eat crushed food. And I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, she's eating soft food, like, pumpkin and sweet potato and stuff. And she's asking for seconds. And as a matter of fact, she got up and came into the kitchen to show me how to use a toaster. And I'm like, what, she's walking on her own? And she said, yes. And I was like, oh my God, what? I was so shocked, guys. I asked her to talk to my mom, and she was just so cheerful. She was just so vibrant. She was just so alive. And I just couldn't believe it. I was just in awe and in shock, and that was 2018, and it's 2024, and my mom is alive, guys. My mom is alive. I want to tell you guys that God still heals. And so if you're ill, if you're sick, or you have a loved one who is sick, guys, have hope. God still heals. It is possible. Jesus said to the disciples one of the times, he said, you're unable to do what you want to do because you lack faith. He said, all you need is faith that is as small as a mustard seed. And a mustard seed is tiny, guys. He said, that's all the faith you need in order to tell the mountain to move and go put itself in the sea. And the mountain will go put itself in the sea. And then he said one of the times, if you believe, all things are possible to those who believe. He didn't say some things, guys. He said all things. Every single thing that you can think of is possible if you believe. When Jesus was about to leave, when he was close to leaving, he said to the disciples, he said, look, the things that I'm able to do, you're going to be able to do them when I'm gone. All of them. And he says, not only that, you'll be able to do greater than those things. Greater than those things, guys. Think about every single miracle that Jesus did. Think about all his healings and the raising the people from the dead and the casting out of the demons and the healing of diseases. Think about all of that. And he says, look, you'll be able to do those things and even greater than that. And my mom is living testament to that truth, that if you believe, guys, all things are possible. And one thing you have to remember, that everything is according to God's will, right? It is if He is willing. You know, I always thought it was really cool that when people came to Jesus, they didn't just say, you know, please do this and please do that. People said to Him, Lord, if you're willing. Rabbi, if you're willing. If you are willing. Everything is according to God's will. Everything is according to the will of the Father, right? So, guys, I just want to give you hope. If you are sick, if your loved ones are sick, then go to God, pray, and believe that it is possible. Well, that's a wrap, guys. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. Please subscribe, like, share. Let me know what you're thinking. All right? Take care, guys.